pregnant and you got this from your insurance, but you have no idea how to use this or why you should use this, watch this video. This is the Spectra S1. It is the blue one. They also make a pink one. This one does not have to be plugged into the wall. Get this one. I had to pay $60 through my insurance instead of just getting the pink one, which was for free. Worth every single penny of $60. You do not want to be connected to the wall. You're already going to be connected to enough. You don't want to have to stay by the wall. This is a pump that will actually help establish your supply. And if you're going to be exclusively pumping, you're going to be wanting to use this for at least the first 6 weeks. I also have the Eufy S1 Pros. They're great, but they will not help establish your supply. I really use them sparingly. And now she's exclusively breastfeeding, so I don't really use any of this. But she was exclusively, I had to exclusively pump for the first 5 weeks. So it comes with everything that you need. However, I did buy accessories, and you will need to buy accessories. I'll explain. It comes with these long cords. It goes right in here. Really self-explanatory. These eventually connect to the pumps. These do not go in the washer. You do not ever get these wet or wash them. Mine have gotten water in them and they've started to get gross. So I've ordered new ones because I don't want mold in my pumping parts. But that happened because they connect to these backflow protectors, and if these are wet, it's gonna get water in there and they're gonna get moldy. Make sure these are dry when you connect them. You'll get the cup, and then you'll get these that connect. These are 24 millimeters. They also give you 27 millimeters. I don't know why. I don't know anyone who's 24 or 27. I highly recommend ordering the Legendary Milk flanges. I started off using a flange kit from Amazon. The flanges were much smaller and they worked great for a little bit, but I really like these Legendary Milk ones because they span the entire cup. They were just a lot more comfortable and my output got a lot better with these. I measure as a 17 and I get a 17. I know a lot of people go bigger, a lot of people go smaller. You just have to figure it out. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what to get. It's just trial and error. If it pinches at all, I actually recommend going smaller. That's my only advice when it comes to sizing. However, later on, I ended up getting this. So you can get these on Amazon. It looks exactly the same, but it's actually like, this is a 17, so it's not a flange. I don't have to insert anything. It's just one piece and it connects directly to the Spectra. It comes just like this. So you can order your size in an actual plastic thing on Amazon instead of having to insert a flange into the 24. And I found that that worked a lot better. But I didn't get this until I was like for sure that I was a 17 and I was comfortable with the flanges. I also get these, the duckbill valves on Amazon. These are the Legendary Milk ones. These wear out so fast, and if your pumping output is not good, I highly recommend switching your duckbill valve and see if that helps. You're gonna get this. You put your duckbill valve here, and then this obviously screws onto the cup. Now the thing that I was most confused with was this little disc thing. So it comes in 3 parts. You have a big saucer, you have the plastic or the silicone part, and then you have the little one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the little one and put the little saucer on it. It goes right around like that. And then the big one, it just sandwiches right on. It doesn't make a sound, you just press it on. Again, make sure these are completely dry when you connect them. On the big side is a little port, and on the small side is a big port. The big port goes inside of the bottle, just like that. And then the little side goes on this side. Now you're connected. The settings, the power button, and then this button, which switches it from expression mode to stimulation mode. And then you have your cycle buttons up and down, and then you have your vacuum buttons up and down. And then it comes with a little light, which is brighter than the sun in the middle of the night. You press the power button and you immediately turn it to stimulation mode. It turns on expression mode. I don't know why. It needs to turn on expression mode. So you turn it on and then you immediately hit this and it changes it to a cycle number that's a lot bigger. and your vacuum, which is smaller. A little wave at the top, that means you're in stimulation mode. So this is how you start your letdown. So again, you turn it on, immediately press the wave, and what I like to do is I always kept it at 70 for the cycle, but the vacuum, I would start at 3 and go up to 4 after a minute, and then after 2 minutes your letdown should be coming, and then I would press the wave again, and now you're in expression mode. So there's a lot of ways to do this. You can look up on Pinterest like different cycles, different vacuums, things like that. But what I would do is, again, I would be in the expression mode. The cycle goes up to 54 and it goes down to 36 by 4s, from 54 to 50 to 46 and so on by 4s. And that's kind of like how fast it goes or slower. I liked 50 a lot. I found that worked for me really well. And then the vacuum goes from 1 to 12. You would think that a higher vacuum would mean higher output, but that is not what that means. Not necessarily. For some people it might. However, I did really well like starting at 6 for 2 minutes, go to 7 for 2 minutes, go to 8 for 2 minutes. And then I would start a stimulation letdown again. So after 10 minutes, I liked to switch back. I would press my wave and switch back to stimulation mode, let the letdown come again, and then do 10 more minutes, including the 2 minutes of stimulation, so 8 more minutes of expression. And sometimes I would up the cycle, so I would go from 50 to 54 and then start again at like an 8 vacuum, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that worked really well for me. I used to just do the highest settings possible. I would do 54 at 12, and I found that like it was probably just squeezing down too much and I wasn't able to get the output that I wanted. So when I start at 6, 7, 8, 9 at cycle 50, sometimes even lower at cycle 46. Again, look on Pinterest. There's like different Spectra ways to like get increased output. I did some of them. I find that if you just watch and see what works for you, you'll eventually get it. But again, you turn it on, press the wave, stimulation for 2 minutes, then you press the wave again and you're in expression. I would do that for 8 minutes and then start the cycle over again and pump for 20 minutes. In the middle of the night, I would only pump for 15. I would also power pump in the mornings a lot in order to increase my supply. So that's where you pump for 20 minutes, rest for 10, pump for 10, rest for 10, pump for 10. So it's like an hour-long process, but you're only pumping for 40 minutes. That does really help increase your supply. It mimics cluster feeding. I also highly recommend the Liquid Gold supplement. How you dreaming? I also highly recommend the Liquid Gold supplement from Legendary Milk. Definitely increases your supply if you take it as it says. I think it's 2 pills 3 times a day with food. I highly recommend the Spectra. It definitely works and is strong. I've also heard the Baby Buddha is really good. I probably would have gotten that one if I had done more research, just because it's a lot smaller. This thing is huge. Just remember being at the start of my pumping journey and being so confused on how to do this, and I didn't want to figure it out because I was so confused, and I just put it off and put it off. And I hope that this video helps and it's less overwhelming. If you have any questions, leave them below. Good luck.